Hi, this is Wesley,
This is Ka'shenia,
and we would like to welcome you to the
the
Underground Geek
Underground Geek
Shack.
Shack. Oh my god, you guys can see my face this time.
We finally had to get some systems in check in order to figure out your whole situation.
Listen, we're still getting things ready. Like I said, I've moved into a new place, so there are some things that are still kind of in the works. But we're getting there slowly but surely.
At least you're no longer a still image this time.
I'm not a still image. I can actually move. I'm actually quite excited for
hmm
this episode.
So, today we are going to be talking about Demon Slayer Season 3, the
Season.
Swordsmith Village arc.
Yep. Don't you mean the aftermath of the second movie? I'm sorry, I still can't.
You keep bringing that up.
I keep bringing that up because I mean, it just upsets me how UFO Table did it. But you know what? We're gonna move past. I have a question for you, but it's gonna be towards the end of the episode since it's technically the end of the season.
hmm
But we'll get there when we get there. Because I just have to say, the way that they kind of did this season, I understand. I mean, I haven't read the manga, so you read the manga. I guess it makes a little bit more sense to you as to why they probably did it like this. But like I said, we'll get there when we get there.
First,
Also, yes.
hey, do you want to know something?
What, Wes?
Good morning.
Oh, shut up. We finally have Nezuko talking. Finally, her voice actress is kind of like, after all these years,
We finally get words.
I can finally speak. Like, I can only imagine as an actor or anything where you're voicing a character that can't okay, so
I mean,
from
technically, she has spoken. It's literally just
she has spoken. Well, I mean, yes, there's that, and also you have to keep in mind, like, because she always has like a piece of bamboo in her belt. Like it kind of makes me think of certain characters. So, characters with the restricted speech. From JJK, the guy who has demon speech,
curse
how
speech.
curse
Gotcha.
speech. Sorry,
You're good.
I still need to get back into JJK.
hmm
But so the guy who has curse speech, he can't actually say things because if he says it, it happens.
hmm
So he has to speak only through sushi ingredients.
Yeah.
Like as a voice actor, that has to be kind of like what? Like I've only seen JJK through the Japanese dub, and I've only seen like the first half of season one. So have you seen the English dub of JJK?
Yes. I have
Okay,
seen the English dub and the sub of JJK.
okay.
So I'm basically caught up with. Okay, anime wise, I am caught up with JJK. Manga wise, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
still back in the hidden inventory arc. I still got to get through that and then get
Hidden
caught up.
inventory.
Yeah,
Okay, so in the English dub, when the guy with curse speech, unfortunately, I can't remember his name.
Toge.
Toge. So I'm assuming in the English dub, he literally says mustard, benito leaves, and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, mustard flakes, bento leaves. Yeah. He basically just speaks in rice ball ingredients. So
Like, that's just, I can only imagine where he's just kind of like, I guess it makes sense. Like it makes sense in the story, but just being coming on and being like, all right, I'm voicing this very powerful character. You're like, yeah, cool. He must say some epic things. All right, Benito, Benito leaves. What? But other than that, we finally have her voice actress actually doing the work. So when it comes to this season, I have to say unfortunately, I came into this season with a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, only because of how UFO Table handled the movie. So I didn't know how to take this. Also,
basically giving us the first episode of this season. Got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, the first season was the second half of a movie and stuff like that. And me waiting so long, only knowing that this season was 11 episodes, I'm just kind of like, all right, what are they going to get done in just 11 episodes?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've already asked you beforehand. I was like, hey, is this arc pretty short? And he was like, yeah. I was like, could they even have put this in a movie? And he was like, maybe. But now that I've seen the actual season,
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of understand why it couldn't be put into a movie because that's a lot of info that they
Yeah.
did throughout this. Like, let's be serious. We have actually this arc was actually done a lot differently because I feel like there's a formula when it comes to Demon Slayer, right? When it comes to Demon Slayer, we know our human element, all right?
Mm-hmm.
We know Tanjiro, we know the Demon Core, stuff like that. Uh, Usually when it comes to anime, you have like a trio, but this time the trio was broken up. Zenitsu and Inosuke, they were off elsewhere. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's even stated in one of the after credits where it's like, "Hey, when is it our turn?" He's like, "Hey, what gives? When is it our turn?" Sorry, that ending. I think it was like of episode 10, where Zenitsu is just so bad, and he's just kind of like through with it, over it. He's just like, "Where are we? Where are we?" But no, so our trio is broken up. Now we have Mitsuri, we have Moichiro,
Mm-hmm. Muichiro.
Muichiro. Sorry, their names. And then
Hey, talk to Gotake about that one, not me.
yeah, then we are introduced to the swordsmiths themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we find out like everything is hidden when it comes to this village. Everything. No one knows how to get there fully. It's all men. That's very interesting, but it makes sense. Back in this time period, they don't expect women to be crafting swords, so
Mm-hmm.
understandable. It's just that there's kids here. Well, we see one kid
Yeah.
who's an apprentice. Um, let's see. We've been introduced to the demons that are going to be the main focus, which is I don't know their names. We have the vase guy and we have the priest guy.
I got you.
Oh,
I got you.
thank
So
you.
the so we the first demon that you had talked about, which is the vase, is Gyoko. And then
Kyoko.
the second one, who has many different forms, is Hatengu.
Hatengu.
Hatengu basically he's the crying one, the one that
Yes.
we've seen before. And
Mhm.
the thing is that with Hatengu, he basically lets his different emotions do the fighting for him.
Yeah.
That's why he can split off into four different forms and then keep his little form of himself and basically running around throughout the swordsmith arc or the village itself and wreaking havoc where nobody else can find him.
Yeah.
Also, this is where we also get to see Genya for the first time, well, second time, third time, basically. But we actually get to see
Yeah.
what Genya is actually capable of with a shotgun and a short sword.
Yeah. And what's also like kind of interesting is that, like I said, this arc was done differently. I feel like there's a formula when it comes to Demon Slayer, and I come to expect it where we're introduced to the demon, we grow to hate him so much, and you're like, oh, I can't believe it. You're completely awful. But then it's like they have a very emotional background and stuff like that, and then you're just kind of like, oh, I sympathize with you now because it's like understandable.
Really.
We did this with the hand demon in the entrance exam.
Mm-hmm.
Did we do it with the two demons? The one that like had the eyeballs on his hands and the ball girl?
With Yahaba and Sasamaru, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I
was
don't.
like, I
No,
don't
no, no. We
remember.
didn't. We didn't. We just took them out.
Yeah, we didn't see their backgrounds. With the drum
The
demon, we saw.
last thing that, because when Tanjiro took out Sasamaru, all she really said was, I just wanted someone to play with me," and then that was as she was dissolving, and
Yeah,
so Tanjiro held Sasamaru's hand until it dissolved, and then he just said, "May you rest in peace," and then we just didn't see anything for Yahaba. So
yeah. Yahaba is just like whatever. Yahaba, you could just freaking die, you soulless monster.
Yahoo was just like, all right, I'm out, peace. But like, yeah, we got to see it with Daki and Gyutaro.
Daki and Gyutaro. We got to see with the drum demon. We saw with Ray, and
Rui,
so
Rui.
Rui. Sorry, not Ray. Rui, another character from a different anime is in my head. But it's just I've come to expect this when it comes to this formula. So when I grew to hate these demons, I'm just kind of like, all right, they have to have some sort of like depressing backstory or something like that. And I can say for certain, I felt no remorse for any. Oh wait, we didn't see with Enmu anyway.
No, yeah, Enmu was just, and yeah, he was just gone.
He was just the end. Game over, yeah. But I was just kind of like, all right, this is interesting.
Mhm,
And then what's even more interesting is we see like the backstory of Muzan
mhm,
before he's defeated.
mhm.
So I'm like, all right, we're flipping the script a little bit
Yeah,
here.
we actually get to see Yoichi for once, my boy.
Oh my god.
Like, because I mean, so even when we both know that when when the episode starts, it's basically Tanjiro and Nezuko, Nezuko being in the box, and then they stumble
Mhm.
upon technically first it's the dream, and it's basically this dude who looks like Tanjiro, and he's talking with this dude who's a swordsman. His name is Yoichi. We're just gonna say that now, and
Mhm.
you know Yoichi's like, I don't need a descendant. I don't, need someone, because Yoichi's the first dude to have sun breathing,
Okay.
and that is the epitome of what all the other breathing styles are. They come from sun breathing. They just branch off into different things.
Yeah.
So you know and Yoichi's like, yeah, I'm glad that I was here, to slay this demon for you, but I'm gonna just head out. And
Yeah, he's like, I wasn't able to save that which was important to me, therefore I'm a disgrace. My I am worthless, much like my name.
right.
And he, the guy who's just standing next to him, he's just kind of like, don't say that.
And it's that part is interesting because you actually get to see the ancestor of Tanjiro, and he's like, oh hey, thanks for taking care of my daughter while my wife is asleep. And I was like, okay, so Yoichi's a pretty interesting dude. And then you know the guy was like, hey, can you at least show me the forms? And he was like, even though you don't have a descendant, I can at least pass down your form through a different way, being,
Yeah.
the flame breathing, the Hinokami.
Yeah.
Sorry, it took me a minute. I had to literally think about
I
that.
I had to think about it too. I was kind of like, crap, what's today?
It's the Hinokami. So that's
Kami.
it. That's interesting because that is basically, yes, it's still sun breathing, but now we see Tanjiro trying to figure out what is Hinokami.
Yeah.
You
And we
know.
see that he has excellent control of it in this season. Because let's think about it. In first season, it was all water breathing and stuff like that. Second season was him trying to go between water and fire breathing, or Kami,
Hmm.
because he found out like it's really intense on the body. And then in this season, it's strictly just Kami. And I'm kind of
Hmm.
like, all right, I see the progression. I see how this is going. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. And then can we just talk about the other breathings real quick? Also, the fact, sorry, he didn't do just strictly Hinokami.
There's the moment where that blew me away is when he sat there and said, "Hey, yo, I have to catch up to Hatengu.
Yeah.
I can't do that at the way I'm moving now." And then he thought about Zenitsu, and he is like, and Zenitsu had explained to him how to do thunder breathing. And
Yeah.
then when Tanjiro was like, all right, let me just put that into my legs, and then I can move like Zenitsu, and he
Flash.
just
Yeah.
flash steps. I was like, yo, my dude can do the flash step now? Okay.
My boy flash stepping. He said, yo,
Jeez.
I got this. Pew! I was like, bro, what? He mastered like the thunderclap? What is going on here? But then he incorporated it into Hinokami.
Hmm.
So I forgot. I think it's like Blazing Flash or something like that from what
Yeah.
how he said it.
And
And
so
I was just kind of
like it
like, yo,
was,
that's so cool.
and all I kept thinking about when he did it was, I was like, oh, that's gonna be really intense on the body. Because even
Yeah.
Zenitsu said when he uses Thunderclap, it's intense on his legs. And I was like, oh, so if Tanjiro uses it, it's gonna be intense on not only his legs, and then when he uses
Sorry.
Hinokami on top of that, that's gonna
Mhm.
be intense up here. And I'm like, oh, you ain't gonna be able to move.
And like, you know what? Seeing how Tanjiro is with how reckless he's not reckless. He tries to be very like thoughtful and methodical about how he moves his body and stuff like that. But I feel like Tanjiro looked at Deku and said, "Yeah, I can destroy my body more than you can." Because I mean, he gets his face crushed, he gets his foot crushed by the wind guy. And I'm like, oh my god, what more can he get done? It's just he was getting crushed inside the wooden dragon, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, my boy out here, and he went into the season not even fully healed from season two.
Right?
My boy is completely messed up, and I'm just kind of like, Tanjiro, you need to take a break. And he's like, nah, dog, I see what Deku can do. I can top him. I'm like, Tanjiro, stop.
He peered into the next universe. He was like, okay, my hero. Okay, okay. I see Deku. I see what he doing. All right, I can do more. I can do more.
Deku's purposely breaking his fingers. How about I purposely break my body?
But you wanted to talk about the other breathing styles, right?
Sorry, yes, the other breathing styles. So we have mist breathing, which I'm sure is like a branch off of water breathing. I understand.
It's a branch of water breathing
And
and
fire.
it's either water and fire or water and sound, one of the two.
Mm. The reason why I say fire is because mist comes from.
But yeah, it would be a branch of both that. Yeah. No, you're right.
Mhm.
You're right.
So you have mist breathing, which that makes sense to me. And I know you told me about Meat City before, how her style of breathing is she created that all on her own. Love breathing
Hmm.
ain't a thing. But Meat City is just kind of like, nah, I got this. And
Fact
I was
that
just kind of like,
Mitsuri the fact that Mitsuri sat here, because like I said before, I've stated this multiple times in almost every other thing we've talked about for Demon Slayer, is that Mitsuri was the disciple of Rengoku. I'm gonna state that
okay.
now. She was the disciple of Rengoku. That's the then with her, because when Mitsuri was young, she loved to eat. We're just
Oh,
gonna
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when we see that backstory, oh my god.
And no one really wanted to be with Mitsuri because then she's
Yeah.
like, but then Rengoku comes along and he is like, hey yo, I'm gonna train you, you're gonna be my student. And then,
Okay, so that's not shown in the
well,
like.
so I get it's not shown. This is what I mean when I always tell you they take creative liberties.
Yeah.
And so even though it's not shown, it's still something vital to the character.
Okay. Also,
So
I meant to ask you this before you go into Mitsuri's background. Did this season closely follow, like, or did they leave out some things?
like I said, I only watched it when it first came out, so I didn't really get the chance to do a rewatch.
Okay.
But from what I remember, from what I remember, I think it closely follows it. Like we said, they took creative liberties, so this part that I'm talking about is kind of is taken out. But
Yeah.
I think for the most part, it pretty much follows it.
Okay. Because I know from Muichiro's background, we really don't see who trains him. We see
Hmm.
that he is recruited by the master's wife and well saved by the master's wife, and he was recruited by the master himself.
Yeah.
And I know he was training at his manor.
Hmm.
So, we get that. We don't see who trains him, however, we don't know who his like martial arts master is, but we do know that the one who was forging his sword, he took like he saw him as someone important because in when he is awakened from his amnesia and stuff like that, while he was in the water trap.
Hmm.
He was just like, I'm sorry I always make you worry and stuff like that. And just kind of like, all right, cool. We see like a mentor of some sorts to Moichiro. And then to Mitsuri, we really don't see a mentor really. We see that she just didn't want to live a life of where she couldn't be herself. And so her motivation, we really don't get to see what was her eye opener of joining the Corps. It was just she lived with her family. She lived a happy life, but she realized, people told her they never want to get with her hair color, which, first off, excuse me, that's awesome hair color. The fact that her hair can do that. She looks like a sakura blossom. I need you to stop. Also, Mitsuri, no guy wants you. You need to come to our universe because there are plenty of people who want you, baby.
But there is a dude who is interested in Mitsuri.
Okay.
I'm
Well, I
not
mean,
gonna. I mean,
we've seen it. It's the one that gives her her socks.
mm-hmm, open eye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know his name,
you've
unfortunately.
seen him before. He's the guy
I've
with the
seen him.
snake.
Yeah, I've seen him before. I just couldn't remember his name.
Yeah,
But I
it's
mean,
open eye.
yeah, we know that it's Obanai that's interested in Mitsuri. But I mean, when she was living before she joined the Corps, like she
Yeah,
wasn't in the
no, like
Corps, and then
when she was, during her whole backstory, yeah, nobody wanted her. She was like the people that did was like, oh well, I just want like a ditzy kind of person, not not you. Like,
yeah, I
okay,
know.
come on,
Sir, excuse
like
me.
hold your horses, calm it down.
The fact that she said at 18 months she was holding the pickling stone.
Mm,
I'm just like, my girl is out here saying, "Yeah, I got this."
but
And the family was all like, "We got you, Mitsuri. This is
right,
all good."
right. But like when it comes to Mitsuri, like how I was saying that she is the, disciple, well, she was a disciple of Rengoku, because Rengoku, after, this is after he became a Hashira.
Okay.
And then, so he was training Mitsuri. The only way Mitsuri became a Hashira is because Rengoku said, "Hey, I have a candidate who can fit into the role of a Hashira.
Okay.
It's my disciple." And
Interesting.
so when Rengoku passed during
Mm.
Mugen Train,
Yeah.
and you see almost everyone else's reaction, almost everyone else like, all right, cool. But when you see Mitsuri is literally breaking down
Okay. I see.
because that was her mentor.
Gotcha. Also, I
So,
meant to ask you something.
mhm.
How old was Green Goku? Is that ever established, like how old he was?
I think Rengoku was, I want to say maybe like 19, either 19 or 20.
Boy,
I think. I don't remember. It's been a minute since
he
I read the
he
manga.
had a disciple at such a young age. Excuse me.
I think I like I said, it's been a minute since I've read the manga, so like you can't
Got
really
you.
fault me for it. Like,
Got you. My boy out here living all of my lives and he dies very young and I'm just like, bro, I'm 27 years old and you went out there and destroyed a whole freaking trade? Excuse me?
there is a this thing for, I know I'm going off here, but there's this one thing about Rengoku where like he actually, the reason why he's so loud is because he can't hear.
Tasty.
Is because during a fight with with a demon, he had the ability to mind control you through your hearing. And
Mm,
so at that point, Rengoku sat there and ruptured his eardrums and took out the demon. And he was like, you can't really, do anything if I can't hear you.
exactly.
So
Which
that's
is
why,
very smart,
and
but
that's why he's always yelling. So
because my
yeah.
boy is freaking deaf. That poor boy.
But back on to Mitsuri, she is also the first person that we ever actually get to see using a sword as a whip.
I was about to say it was very interesting because I think I've only seen like a glimpse of it before. So coming into this, I was very excited to see how Mitsuri fights because I remembered that she didn't fight with traditional style,
Hmm.
but using her sword as a whip, and I'm just kind of like, excuse me.
Yep.
She can do what?
Use it because I think it leans more. I feel like she
Well,
leans more into her power than anything
yeah.
else. Because like yeah,
And
she's using the whip, in which the whip is basically, hey, I can get around you, but I'm also strong as heck, so I can still get through you.
but also it's not really, I wouldn't want to say it's like a whip. It's more or less she's using ribbon dancing as like,
Yeah,
because I
pretty
realize
much
how she does it is more gymnastics and ribbon
ribbon
dancing.
dance. Yeah,
And I'm just kind of like, this is freaking awesome, dude. The way she's just slicing through everything, my girl, she's just like, she stopped the freaking dragon with her hands. Or no, when the dragon was about to like come down, and she's just swinging it above her, and I'm like, ma'am, can you stop? Also, Ginya,
Genya. Yeah,
his fighting, because he doesn't fight with a sword. Well,
right.
he kind of
He
fights with a
has
sword.
an Ichiran short sword, which in my notes I just put as a dagger, and
Yeah,
then he uses
that's just so that he can
the
decapitate a demon.
right, and
But
so he uses the shreds of the Nichiren blade to actually make the shotgun shells that he uses.
okay, because I mean, this is the first time we're just like, yeah, I'm in the demon corps. Yeah, we're
And
all swords
this is
master.
also the first time that we actually get to see with Genya that he actually get if he eats part of it, if he eats a demon or part of a demon, he can gain those properties of that demon.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of like, it's interesting how no one else has decided to like try this before. But I think Ginya is probably like the first one. He's like, I'm the one mad lad that's gonna be like, yeah, I'm just gonna eat him. Everyone's like, wait, hold on, you're gonna do what? You're like, yeah, I'm just gonna eat him, sir.
But then we also get to see the backstory for Genya and Sanemi too,
Yeah,
which that was
that's
heartbreaking.
heartbreaking. And he's like, my mom was a small girl, which was what I was gonna say. Like this season was like, yeah, everybody gave you you like backstories, you like backstories. Well, forget the backstories when it comes to the freaking demons. We're gonna give you backstories of the Hashira, and I'm like, cool. You're still breaking my heart, Demon Slayer. He's like, what's wrong with Genya? Well, Genya's basically Tanjiro, but I mean, he still has his brother. Hold on, sorry.
No,
I'm trying to
you're
get
good.
I'm trying to get my thoughts all in order
Mm-hmm.
because Genya is Tanjiro, but it was as if, he went more of a malice route and he's just kind of like, all right, no one became a demon in my family except for the mom. The
And
mom
then the
became a
mom came back home. Well, technically, the mom came home,
yeah.
and Sodomy was the first one to see, and then he realized something was up with her, and then the rest of the family got eaten. He tried to save Genya. He saved Genya, and he just told Genya, run, get out of here. And then he's like, this is mom, but this isn't mom. And he's like, our mom has been turned into a demon.
Well, he couldn't
And
explain that all
yeah,
that well.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, he was trying to fend her off the best he could. And when he actually killed her, when daybreak came, Genya saw it and he was like, you murderer, you killed our mom. And so Genya has kind of been holding that against Sonomy this entire
Well, you mean
time.
Sodomy has been
Holding
holding it
it
against
against
India
Genya.
because
Yeah.
Sodomy refuses to even acknowledge. He's just kind of like, yeah, I don't have a brother. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, man. You kind of have to understand the emotions that was going on. Gideon didn't fully understand what was going on. I mean, if we understood things correctly, those who are outside the demon core don't know that demons exist.
Hmm.
It's only isolated cases where actual humans understand, yeah, demons exist.
Right?
I'm really excited to see how the relationship between Sodomy and Genya is going to come out
Hmm.
because I do want them to kind of reconcile because I hope Sodomy said what he said to Genya as like a discourage him from joining the court as a way of protection. Because I know how rough and tough brothers tend to be, and I don't want to show you emotion, but I do truly care about you. Because you could tell when before the demon attack and everything, they were actually pretty chill with each other. They cared about each other very deeply. You know, they're like,
Mhm.
"I'm gonna stand up for you. We gotta help this family." But after everything that was said, I could understand why sodomy doesn't, not sodomy. Yeah, well, why sodomy isn't exactly happy to see Ginya because
Yeah.
he's hurt and everything. But sodomy has to understand. That's the thing. Like, yes, I know it sucks. He said such cool things to you, but I mean, you kind of have to understand, bro. He didn't mean it out of malice. He was just hurt, bro. He didn't understand that demons existed. Why be surprised now? It's just that. But I do hope that everything becomes better between them and stuff like that. So, moving on to another brotherly pair that ended in tragedy. Freaking
Um,
Muichiro.
so I find it funny that with Muichiro, when he's in Gyoku's bubble, right?
The water trap, yeah.
And there's a moment where he sees Tanjiro, and Tanjiro starts saying things to him, and Muichiro's like, Tanjiro never would say that. What
Yep,
the heck?
Tanjiro didn't say this.
And you're like, what is going on here? What is going on here? And then it turns out that Muichiro actually had a twin brother. And you're like, what? A twin?
Bro, excuse me? Like that was crazy. And I was just kind of like, okay, let's see how this goes. In my head, I know anime rules. I'm just kind of like, the brother dies. He dies somehow. He has to die. He can't be alive. There's no way he could be alive. But no, but so we see his backstory and we
Mhm.
see how both of his parents basically die on the same night, and his brother has like this outlook of you can't help others, you have to help yourself. If dad would
Right.
have stayed, only our mom would have died, and we would still at least have a parent. And, he's thinking of this in a more logistical way of like you need to help yourself because if you worry about helping others and you can't help them, you both eventually fail.
Hmm.
I completely get it, but like how Muichiro says, hey, that's a very like harsh way of thinking. You shouldn't think like that. And his brother just kept pushing him down. And oh, the fight of you can't even cook rice by yourself. What makes you think you become
You're right.
a swordsman and stuff? And Muichiro was just crushed. Oh, and then the night. No. Like just seeing how that night went and how Michiro basically snapped. And I kind of want to know how they ended up from inside the house, cowering in the corner, to Homeboy's head was smashed in, stakes were stabbed into each of his body parts, and he's just sitting there twitching on the ground. And Mucho just standing there. And I'm like, sir, I know he said that he doesn't remember what happened. All he know was that he heard this howl and he couldn't believe that it was coming out of him. I'm
Hmm.
like, my homeboy freaking snapped. This is that anime rule of if they look nice, they aren't nice. They had a breaking point.
Everyone has a
Oh,
breaking point.
and then he goes back inside, and his brother, of course, dying is just, please, Buddha, have mercy. And I'm like, brother, no, I will cry. I will just cry. Because Demon
Like,
Slayer did it again. They made me hate a character, and then it was just kind of like sympathy.
hit you with the sympathy card real quick.
Prepare to feel sympathy. Are you ready to cry? Demon Slayer, I've cried enough. Well, too bad. I'm just kind of like, gah. But I mean, it's good. I am happy. And then, it's funny how Demon Slayer is just kind of like, yeah, you see a lot of these stories, a lot of these backstories of these people are all in tragedy. But
Hmm.
let me hit you with the reverse. Meet City's backstory. Nothing sad. It's only like her feelings get hurt. Like, yes, that's very tragic. And she felt like she couldn't belong in this world if she acted like herself. That is also very tragic. But as far as we know, her family all still alive. all
Hmm.
of her siblings alive.
Yep.
You know, she has a very happy, healthy relationship with everybody. She joined the Corps because she wanted to help others and be herself.
Hmm.
Because she said she feels so happy when she's able to help people. And I'm just kind of like, dang, Meat City, you're like, hold on, you're like Froppy.
Okay.
Yes,
You're
I'm.
drawing parallels to my hero now. Okay.
Because, I mean, think about it. With Froppy, with Sue, you know, she still has a very happy, healthy relationship with her family. She has a huge family, all of her siblings and whatnot. So, I mean, am I wrong?
I
Is
mean,
she not
you're not
Froppy?
wrong. You're not wrong.
Mitsuri is just Froppy, but she's not a frog. uh,
But then we get to the big bad villain, the one that we've been trying to chase through the entire time, Hatengu, and we finally get
no.
to what?
We get to the villain, the one we've been trying to get to this whole time, and I said Muzan.
Yes,
I
yes,
think
yes, yes. Muzan. We finally meet the big. We meet Michael Jackson himself.
we meet the smooth criminal himself, the king of demons.
Yeah, the one we've been seeing this entire time.
Muzan's breakout tour.
No,
But
but
no.
we finally get to see what we've been seeing Hatengu, and we finally try to behead him in his small form. And the weird thing is, it's how do I put this? He's in his regular form. He's just small and he's hiding in his own heart,
Mhm.
which is really weird.
That is hilarious. But I
And
also
as
want
he's
to.
running, that's daybreak's coming, and the last thing you need is for a certain demon to start burning, in which Nezuko starts burning, and you're like, oh no. And then Tanjiro turns around to go and try to shield Nezuko from the sun, and Nezuko says, boy, get off me, and pushes
Yeah,
him
she
off.
freaking kicks him.
She just
But
launches
wait,
him.
I want to pause you real quick because I
Mhm,
do want to go back to Hatengu because I do want to say, as someone who has studied Japanese culture and Japanese history, and especially yokais,
mhm.
Hatengu's design is amazing. So I want to give you a little bit of a lesson. So he is based off of a Tengu, which I don't know if you know what a Tengu is. Well, tell me if you understand what a Tengu is.
Or you could just explain what a Tengu is.
I just wanted to see if you knew before I started explaining, okay?
Listen. I only read the manga of this. I only read the manga, and then I did a little bit of research when the manga was coming out, which was during college. So you expect me to remember all this?
All right.
No.
So a Tengu is a yokai that is a. It looks like half bird, half man. You usually see them in Buddhist or priest uniforms because when it comes to the way a Tengu is formed is if a Buddhist or a priest happens to lose their way and start going towards the dark side, where they turn into a Tengu. Now, all of Hatengu's, which is interesting because of his name, all of his personalities when they split
Mhm.
into four, they all each represent a form or a representation of the Tengu. So with Joy, he was able to fly, and he had bird feet,
Mhm.
referencing the bird features of a Tengu. Anger had the staff, which
Yep.
is like a Buddhist staff. I can't remember the exact things about it, but it is important to their religion, referencing the fact that Tengus usually come from the Buddhist priests themselves. Um, Sorrow had the spear, which a lot of depictions show a lot of Tengus with that type of weaponry and stuff like that. If they didn't have the Buddhist staff, and then what was it? Lust.
Might
It
have been
was,
less. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's Lust. So Lust had the fan in the shape of a wind, in the shape of a leaf,
Yeah.
which they believed that Tengus had the ability to control the wind. So when it was split into four, they each represented the Tengu, which I was like, oh my god, freaking genius. I love that. And, they each represent a very hard emotion, which when it comes to Buddhist priests, it's all about calm and, being very chill and everything like that. Showing extreme emotions like that is usually forbidden because you have to be calm and everything in order to perform your duties.
Mm-hmm.
So that going into the Tengu where they lost their way, but still are just kind of like, I am a practitioner of the Buddhist religion, but you've given in to your emotions. I was like, all right, cool, bet you're doing really, really good. Now, the other mythological thing that they went into was when all four emotions like formed into each other and they did the fusion. Ha!
Yeah, they hit it wrong. They did the Batara fusion.
When they decided to fuse, and you see him standing in like a godlike form with the drums behind him. That's a representation of Rengeki. I can't remember the exact
I
name
think it's
of
Rengeki.
Rengeki. It sounds familiar. If I'm wrong, someone in the comments can be like, "Oh my God, Ka'shenia, it's not Rengeki. It's actually." And I'm like, "Listen here, it's been a minute since I've studied Japanese mythology, but I understand. Please correct me because I do want to be corrected." So I'm going to say Rengeki for the sake of me not being able to remember the name of Rengeki, which is a lightning. There's a lightning god and a thunder god, and one of them I want to say it's the lightning. No, the thunder one, who has like a spherical like sphere behind them with the smaller spheres. Now in this one, in the anime, they made him use the spheres as drums. Now I can't remember if in actual Japanese mythology if the same god used it as drums to create the thunders. If it is, freaking brilliant. We're referencing back to mythology again, which I'm just kind of like, oh, beautiful.
Good job,
And then,
Kotsuke. Good job. You did a really
good
good
job.
job.
Congratulations. I enjoyed that part as a huge, gigantic Japanese nerd. And then Hokaku himself, the actual main body, is an Oni.
Mm-hmm.
Onis hide their faces because they're supposed to like never show that they cry and stuff like that. He
Yeah.
keeps his face hidden all the time. Also, it doesn't help the fact that he has the horns, which furthermore shows the Oni side of him as well. And then when he becomes gigantic and angry, that's what he's supposed to show as like a true Oni. Onis are usually angry, short tempered and stuff like that. They use violence as a solution to everything. But there's like a story where an Oni owns a dog, and when he lost his dog, he became really, really sad. And so he wore a mask to show that, he's always crying, he's always shedding tears, but he doesn't want the outside world to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So him hiding inside of his heart, that was really interesting. Sorry about that side tangent. I just wanted to be like, yo, the freaking mangaka got it right. I mean, of course, it helps that he's Japanese and understands all of this stuff, but the fact that he put this into character design,
It's
mwah.
a she.
She put this into character design, mwah. Freaking beautiful. I love it. You do a beautiful job. Listen,
Sorry.
man.
I just thought I had to throw that in there.
I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. How many times do you think that I've like pronounced a mangaka's name and then I'm like, oh yeah, he, and then I go and look it up, I'm like, oh,
She.
oh.
But no, so I guess we'll continue from that side tangent because I know that you was talking about the ending where
Yeah.
Nezuko
So
kicks
when Nezuko kicks Tanjiro off of her, and
because she's just
with
kind of like, I can tell you don't know, you can't make the decision, so I'm gonna
right,
make the decision for you.
and with a determined fist, she basically told him, get the job done.
Go. Even though she has a very childlike mind, and half the time she's running off of instinct and stuff like that. She was just like, I know you care about me, but at this moment, it's not about me. I
Right.
will willingly sacrifice myself so that you can get this job done and save people. And then, of
Right.
course, the breakdown of Tanjiro after he killed
Hot Tengu.
Hokaku, Hatengu. I said
Yeah.
Hokaku. I meant
Hokaku.
Hatengu. Who's Hakaku? Never mind. After he kills Hatengu and stuff like that, and he's breaking down because he's like, I came to the core to save my sister. And
Right.
then just for her to nonchalantly
You just walk up.
it said good morning. That's why you know what, at the end of this episode, I'm gonna tell y'all all of the tweets that not the tweets, all of the messages I sent Wes as I was watching this season.
So the thing that for me when I watched it, right? And you can literally hear Nezuko screaming, as she's being burned. And I was like, okay, okay. And the entire time I'm like, it hurts. It hurts, but we gotta keep going. And so we sit there, we decapitate Hantengu, and I was like, all right, cool, cool. And I was like, can we get back to Nezuko, please?
Yeah.
And then when Tanjiro's crying because he's like I basically just killed my sister, and and then you hear footsteps, and I'm like, that's not Zenitsu. Zenitsu's somewhere else. That's not. And so I'm thinking about it. I'm like maybe it's Mitsuri, but I was like, no, Mitsuri's still fighting the other dude. And then I was like, it can't be Genya. And then you just hear,
and it's like not Muichiro because he
yeah,
passed out.
right. And so I'm like, then who else? I was like, oh no, it's another demon. We gotta fight this dude in the daylight. And I was like, oh boy. Then you turn around and you see that it's Nezuko. And I was like, you survived the sunlight? I was like, and then that started clicking. I was like, oh no. I said, wait a minute. If you survive the sunlight, that means Muzan is going to now come for you.
Because first off, how does Muzan figure it out though?
Because if you
Like,
think
how does he
about it,
know?
right? Well, remember, demons only operate at night.
But no, so I understand that, but how does he know she survived in the sunlight?
Because
forget
of the
if
blood,
they
because
okay.
of his blood.
Okay.
Because since he gave her his blood, it's basically like, hey, Nezuko's off somewhere else. It's basically the blood is basically like a tracker.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like
I
like
get
when
it
you
now.
have like a GPS and you're just like, oh, okay, yep, all right, they're over there, got it. And so
It's like if I gave a blood, if I donated my blood and somebody took it, I'm just sitting somewhere like the person who has my blood is like 10 meters away from me.
And so that's how Muzan
Mugen?
it's back.
It's back. The train.
But that's how Muzan knows that something is up, because then he's like, oh snap, he's like, oh yeah, Hatengu's gone,
Yeah,
Kyoko's gone, all right, but I now have a demon that can survive the sunlight. If I absorb them, I can withstand the sunlight and still look for the freaking blue spider lily that he's been looking for this entire time.
mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I get it now. Yeah, so now it makes sense. And for him to be the creation of all demons and stuff like that, it was because he was sick and the doctor was trying to help him. How he turned into a demon, and you're just kind of like, okay.
Like, he turned into a demon and then he ended up killing the doctor, and just like, are you sure that was the best option? Like, you could have got some good information out of him and then killed him.
Well, he thought he was gonna die. He was
No,
like,
I mean, still, I would have, like, if it was me and I thought I was gonna die, I'm just saying, like, if I was in Muzan's situation, right, I'd be like, all right, I feel like I'm about to die. Hey, yo, doc, give me all the information you got.
But no, because he was going off of anger, and the fact that he was just kind of like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill him because I'm gonna die anyway." And then
Right.
he's
If
just
I'm gonna
like,
die,
"All
then I'm
right,
gonna take him out with me. So
I'm getting better. I fear the sun. I crave human flesh. I have stronger. I like my muscles are freaking bulging." So I'm just kind of like, okay, so you became a demon. So that doesn't explain. Like I Wesley.
but I'll explain something about the thing Muzan's trying to look for. I'll explain that later. When
Okay.
I mean later, I mean later seasons. So maybe
In season
with
4.
season 4, which might be the
Yeah.
last season. So
Yeah, seeing as how, from what I've been told, there's not much left.
yeah.
So, what I wanted to ask you
Mm-hmm.
because we're coming towards the end of the episode and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then I'm going to read off my text messages I sent you as a final like goodbye to this episode because they're funny. But when it came to the release of this season,
Mm-hmm.
I like I said, I came in just knowing that this was a very short season and stuff like that. I forgot that the last season was basically an hour long. So I know that we started this season with a movie. Yeah, I'm still upset.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we ended this season with a
A
movie.
movie.
I know you didn't watch the last movie of
Mm-hmm.
Demon Slayer,
Yeah.
but when they released episode 11, did they release episode 11 before the movie or did they release it after the movie was shown? Like,
No, they released episode 11 before the movie because they released it, and then if memory serves, they released it, and then probably like maybe like 2 weeks later they were like, hey, we're coming out with a movie, something to
so
that nature.
so what?
And then
I know you said you didn't watch it, but
I
your
didn't
friend
watch it
watched it.
because after what we experienced from the last time, I didn't want to go back and be heartbroken all over again and then
So I know you
scream out
said
to the heavens.
I know you said you had a friend who watched the movie.
Yeah,
What was the movie again?
literally the Hashira training arc. So it was literally from what they told me because they said it was good. I guess they said it was literally the last two episodes, like how we did for the last one, and then it was
Mm-hmm.
like um the first episode of the Hashira training arc, and the way
So
how it
season four.
basically how it ended was, hey yo, we need to start training, and that was it. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
So I'm glad I didn't go see it. I'm glad I'm just waiting for it to just come out when it comes out.
But so they showed the last two episodes of season three, but I mean the last two episodes, episode 10 was 20 minutes long. Episode 11 was like an hour long,
Mm-hmm.
51 minutes exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already a movie right there. And then they were just kind of like, oh, we'll show a little bit more.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So I guess that was it. Because remember, I didn't go see it, so
That's
I can't tell
annoying.
you
I
firsthand.
mean, Ufa table. Anyway, let's just ignore it. So we're at the end of the episode, but
You
I
want to
just
know what I
wanted to.
am excited for?
What are you excited for?
My Hero season 7.
Oh, okay, we're back to the My Hero stuff. Same. My Hero, as of right now, is going to be releasing somewhat soon, and I can't wait. But I'm trying to be like, should I binge it all at once, or should I,
No,
watch
no,
it
no,
as
no.
it
Don't
goes?
sit here and try to binge it all at once. We already discussed this
But I
before.
hate
No,
waiting for
no, no,
new
no, no.
content.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You're
Wesley,
gonna sit here and you're gonna be like the rest of us, and you're
no.
gonna have to watch it week to week.
But buddy, I like being able to be like, I'm watching everything all at
No,
once.
no, because I like coming up with theories, and it sucks when I have to come to you and I'm like, "Oh, hey, this episode was good.
Wesley,
This
you
episode
can't
was
come up
good."
with theories
But
with me because you've read
but
the
then, shut up.
manga.
But then, because I like coming up with theories, but then it
Yes.
sucks when I come to you and then you're like, "Oh, well, I haven't actually watched it yet. I'm gonna wait till it's done." And then I'm like, "Oh, so you just want me to sit here with theories on top of theories?" And then you go, "Bro, what was this episode? Bro, what was this? What was this? I have a theory about this." And I'm like,
And
"Oh,
you're like,
oh,
I've already
oh."
came up with
I'm like, I already came up with a whole bunch of theories. Now I just gotta sit them on the back burner. How about just watch it week to week, and then we can just talk about it? Deal?
that. You know what? I will try. I
Good.
will, you know what? I
At
will
least give it an
full-heartedly
attempt.
try. But so to end off this episode, so one thing I forgot to say throughout this episode was that season three, I was surprised by how freaking funny this whole entire this whole entire season was. So I watched it and I rewatched some episodes before all of this happened, and I sent Wesley a play for play my entire reaction in text message. Unfortunately, he was at work, but I
Yeah.
sent him text for text. And so he came home to like a wall of text. So I'm going to tell you what I said, because I was letting him know, hey, I'm finishing up the season or whatever, stuff like that. But, Anyway, so here's how it starts. What the heck is this season? Did I make did I make a quote? Pay attention, boys. Hakanesuke's weak spots are his size. Watch, all you gotta do is this. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Because that that entire sequence, I was like, excuse me? Then Haganeska stands up. He says, his sides, quick, go for his sides. I'm just like, excuse me? Then I stay quiet for a little bit as I'm watching and I'm digesting. Then we get to the part where the upper moons go in and start doing stuff, and when we're fighting the four emotions, and we're Tanjiro figures out, wait, none of these are the main bodies. Like there's a fifth one, and he finds out where he's at, and then we go and fight, and Ginya finds him, and he said, "Why is he so small?" And I'm just kind of like, "Why is he so small?" Then we're continuing on, and I'm like, "This season, what the heck is this season?" Because I'm just like, there's so much comedy going on with all this tragedy. Then I see Ginya's backstory, and I'm so freaking sad. So I just tell Wesley, why they do that to Ginya's family? Dang it, Demon Slayer. But then we see Haganeska's mask fall off, and I'm just kind of like, oh no, he's hot. Because I'm just kind of like, dang it. As someone who has like a freaking attitude and reacts like that, I'm just kind of like, man, he must look so freaking stupid under that mask. Mask falls off. Oh no, why they do this to me? Crap. And then I see Muichiro's past backstory. I'm just kind of like, no, Muichiro. Then he gets up, starts fighting the fish guy. Sorry, the vase guy. I can't remember his name.
Yoko.
And then Yoko. And then he's just like, look, the feature, my final form. Bow down before me in awe. And then it's just Muichiro silence. And I'm like, this is cracking me up. And then I just realized, why fish? I'm just like, bro, why is there so many fish? Why is this whole thing fish? He's like, they are my masterpiece. I'm like, this is stupid. Why fish? And then after we fight him and stuff like that, we then go back to Hatengu. And this is when it looks like Tanjiro is about to win and stuff like that. That he just grows, and I'm like, I said Wesley, I was like, he can grow?
He can grow?
I'm like, what's up with this demon? Literally, after I said that, I said, well, I'm so sorry about all the messages. I just find this season so interesting. And then comes the ending where not Zenitsu, Nezuko walks up and she says, good morning. And I said, how? What? Good morning? Girl, how? And that was my play-by-play of my reaction when it came to watching this season.
See,
now,
I thought you were gonna sit there and say like, he can use thunderclap and flash.
Dude, I was in astonishment. I couldn't message you at that time. But so when you saw all of my messages, what was your reaction?
Because I was at work, right? And so I got off work and I was like, who the heck keeps texting me? Don't they know I'm at work? And then I opened my phone and I was like, what in the world? Because the first thing I see is, he can grow? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what are you talking about? And then I see, good morning, girl, how? I was like, what you mean, how? So and then I literally had to read through all about it. Oh, okay, she's going through season 3. Got it. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I see what you're doing now. Sense.
But yeah, no, I wanted to end off the episode with that because I mean there was a lot of sadness and tragedy that was revealed within this season. But also this season was just like, I'm going to crack you up. The thing that just gets you is his size. Quick, go for his size. I hate it. But that is the end. That is the end.
So with that being said, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It would help us out immensely. And what do you want them to comment?
Comment what was your favorite part about season 3? I mean, I like the story. I loved the comedy. The comedy was a nice French kiss touch to the whole thing.
Yeah, that sprinkle of comedy.
But yeah, so tell us what was your favorite part about season 2?
So that's gonna be it from us. Thank you for visiting.
We hope you enjoyed the visit to
the Underground
Geek Shack. See you guys.